Am I audible? আমার কথা শুনতে পাচ্ছ তোমরা?
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
আমার কথা শোনা যাচ্ছে তো?
ইয়েস
হ্যাঁ
স্যার।
স্যার, পাওয়া যাচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে। ওকে, শুরু করা যাক। Our experiment is calibration of three-phase watt-hour meter. Okay. Here with watt meter and stopwatch and something that is not the part of the name of experiment. It is just for illustration. Watt-hour meter means it is energy meter. So what we want to do, actually there are a lot of circuit and everything, but before that let's see what we want to do and what is happening there. There is one energy meter, okay, and we know a three-phase energy meter, okay. A three-phase energy meter or a three-phase watt meter, whatever it may be, these are basically always two-element meter. Two-element means there are two sets of pressure coil and current coil. One pressure coil and one current coil is called one element. There are two such elements, so two pressure coils and two current coils. Now for a balanced three-phase supply, when we use a three-phase watt meter or watt-hour meter, energy meter, what we do? So consider that there are three phases R, Y, B. We connect one current coil in the R phase, another current coil in the B phase, and okay, the pressure coil will be connected between R phase and Y phase and B phase and Y phase. So it means that it could be different also, no problem. The essence is that there are three phases. In one phase we connect the current coil, in another phase also we connect the current coil in series with the line, and in the third phase where there is no current coil at all, no current coil attached, in that particular third phase the return point of pressure coil will be connected common. Okay, so in our phase here in this the connection we are using it is a current coil in the R phase, another current coil in the B phase, and in the third Y phase there will be a return path of the pressure coil. The other point of the pressure coil will be one pressure coil will be in the R phase common to the current coil terminal, and there is another pressure coil that will be connected to the B phase, okay, at the entry point of the current coil. So that is the essence. You know all these things, okay, you have already studied it. So for a two element meter we need two current coil and two pressure coil. So that is also found here. But the thing is, in that particular arrangement, what we do, okay, we can measure the energy consumed by the energy meter. But whether that energy reading is correct or not, how can we compare it, that thing? How can we calibrate it? To calibrate, we need another instrument, another three-phase instrument. What it will be? It will be either a second energy meter will be required, which will be a two-element energy meter, okay, and the current coil of test energy meter and standard energy meter will be connected in series, so that same current can pass through the current coil of the two energy meter. A test energy meter means the energy meter that which is going to be calibrated, which is going to be compared, and a standard energy meter means it is the energy meter whose energy is considered as the correct energy, true energy. Okay, so both the energy meters are two element energy meters. So both of them have two current coils and two pressure coils. So their current coils will be connected in series and pressure coils will be connected in parallel, so that same current can pass through both the current coils in one element, and same voltage will be available across the pressure coil of a particular element. Now their two readings will be different. From that difference in reading, we can compare the reading of the test energy meter from the standard energy meter. But here, for calibrating one energy meter, what we do, we are not using another energy meter. We are taking a different approach. What we do, we use, okay, now we use as one either a three phase watt meter, we are measuring power, okay, or we are using two single phase watt meter. But in both the cases, whether we use a three phase watt meter or two single phase watt meter, basically we are measuring power using that watt meter. So now you can ask one question: how then the reading of the energy meter can be compared to the reading of the watt meter? Obviously they cannot be compared. Then why we are using watt meter? Actually what we do here, we are also at the same time using one stopwatch for measuring the amount of time, or rather time difference, during which some power will be consumed. So if the power is held constant during that time interval, so then wattmeter reading that will give us the watt or power into the time difference will give us the energy consumption during that time interval. So wattmeter reading into time interval, which is found from the stopwatch, that will give us an energy that will be considered as the true energy. That energy now that energy reading of the test energy meter now will be compared with the energy that we already get it from the watt meter. So now the energy meter can be calibrated with respect to watt meter and stopwatch arrangement. So if we see that this circuit is actually shown here, that circuit is actually shown here. If we see this particular thing, the two current coils are in series for one element, another two current coils are also in series in the second element, and for each of the element their pressure coils are also held constant. And obviously we are connecting a voltmeter also to know the pressure coil voltage. We also connect one ammeter to know the current in the current coil. It is just for knowing the current and voltage as a cross check, okay, and also to control the current in the current coil, okay, to control the current in the current coil, because here during the comparison process or calibration process, we will vary the current coil current. So we will vary the, how we can vary? We can vary it by using a rheostat. Here two rheostats are found, you see. One rheostat is R1, another rheostat is R2. So using the two rheostats R1 and R2, we can adjust the value of the current in the current coil, and whether we have achieved the required value of load current, that can be found from the reading of the two separate wattmeters in the two elements, in the two phases. So that's why ammeter is required to know whether we have achieved the desired value of current coil current, whether we have achieved. That's why current coil is required. Similarly, why the voltmeter is required? The voltmeter is required because we want to know whether our line to line voltage is held at a particular value. So that feedback is required, which is done by using a voltmeter. Okay. Now one more thing is that where from the three phase supply is coming. The three phase supply is already available in our laboratory. RYB it's shown here. Now that supply is, okay, connected to through some transformer. The transformer, it is a, actually normally here it is used a delta star transformer used. Okay, delta star transformer is used, and ultimately using that the three phase input supply is available at the output in the form of a low voltage. The winding number of turns in the windings are adjusted in such a way that there will be a step down voltage, and ultimately we are getting 110 volt, okay, in the lines. Okay, So that is the arrangement actually. Now, one more thing, if you notice it thoroughly, you will find out one more thing, that there is no load at all. There is no load at all. Okay. If there is no load, okay, then it means that how can we just find out the energy, where the energy will be consumed? The same principle is adapted that you have already come across in your previous semester, a phantom loading concept. Phantom loading means there is no actual load present. Okay. The watt meter or watt hour meter, whatever it may be, they don't know whether there is a load or not. They are not interested. They simply do one thing. They sense the current through current coil. They sense the voltage through voltage pressure coil, and they multiply this current and voltage internally by its internal mechanism, and also they multiply it cosine of the phase difference between voltage and current. So it means what? Current coil measures I, pressure coil measures V, that will be multiplied V into I into cosine of their phase difference will be also multiplied. So ultimately it will be VI cos phi. For watt meter, VI cos phi or power will be measured, and in energy meter, okay, the energy will be measured in terms of VI cos phi into duration of experiment, during which the energy meter is excited. So VI cos phi into time difference. So that will be the energy registered by the energy meter. Clear? So they do that thing. So if there is no load at all, there will be no phase difference. So how we can create a phase difference between voltage and current? The current is supplied separately by one winding, okay, in both the elements, and the voltage is supplied by, okay, another arrangement which is given in the circuit between line to line. So they are supplied separately, V and I. So the watt meter or watt hour meter gets the information of V and I. But where from they will get the information of cos phi? That phase difference between voltage and current is actually artificially generated. Artificially generated by using a phase shifter, a three-phase phase shifter, which is something like a rotating transformer, whose primary winding and secondary winding, there will have a phase difference, and the amount of phase difference in the rotating transformer is controlled by the amount of angle by which the secondary circuit is rotated. So a secondary winding is free to rotate, then the angle, the actual mechanical angle or space angle between the tilted secondary or rotated secondary, okay, will be reflected in the output. So if input is sin omega t, our output will be sin omega t plus phi or sin omega t minus phi, depending on the direction of rotation of the secondary rotating winding. So the amount of rotating angle is reflected in terms of the time phase angle. Okay. So that's how a phase difference is created by the three-phase phase shifter. And note that the three-phase phase shifter is always placed in the voltage circuit. Okay. It is placed in the voltage circuit or in the circuit where pressure coil is placed. Why the three-phase phase shifter is placed in the voltage circuit? Why not in the current circuit? Instead of creating a phase difference of voltage circuit with respect to current, we could do the reverse. We could place the phase shifter in the current circuit, and the current may get shifted with respect to the voltage. But no, we are not doing it, because during rotation, it is always desired that the working current of the rotating winding should be less, should be small. In the current circuit, the current is not small, but in the voltage circuit, okay, which is connected to the pressure coil, the operating current is quite small. So it will be easy for us to create a rotation or tilting of the secondary winding, rotating winding in the voltage circuit, because its working current is small conductor cross section is small, therefore it will be lightweight, and ultimately during the rotation, if there is a movement of conductor, okay, there is even when some sudden interruption or looseness occurs, okay, for a low current circuit, that will not create any problem. So in all respect, it will be better to introduce a phase shifting in the voltage circuit, not the phase shifting in the current circuit. That's why the phase shifter is always inserted in the voltage circuit. Note that one more thing I must say, that if you have any question, feel free to ask me. If you have any question, please interrupt me, ask me question. যদি কোনো অসুবিধা থাকে আমাকে অবশ্যই তোমরা জিজ্ঞেস করে নেবে কোনো পয়েন্টে আর কি। আমি আস্তে আস্তে সব বলছি স্টেপ বাই স্টেপ, কিন্তু তবু যদি জিজ্ঞেস করার থাকে, মনে হয় কোনোটা ক্লিয়ার হয়নি, আমাকে যতবার খুশি জিজ্ঞেস করবে, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। So that is our phase shifter arrangement is there. Okay. Now, so just by rotating, we can control the phase shifting. Now we know if for a particular position of the phase shifter, if we can make phi equal to 0, that is the voltage and current, they are in same phase, they are in phase. It means it will be our unity power factor. So we can create unity power factor arrangement. Now, if we can make by rotating the phase shifter, if we can create phi equal to 90 degree, then cos 90 degree is 0. Okay, then it will be a 0.5 power factor. Sorry. If we can create a phase shift of 60 degree, then it will be cos 60 degree, it will be a 0.5 power factor. So that's how we can create the our desired power factor just by introducing a phase shift, okay, through the phase shifter arrangement. Okay, and we know one thing, that the reading in one element of the energy meter or watt meter is proportional to cos 30 degree plus phi, and the reading in the other element is proportional to cos 30 minus phi. You already know it from your previous exposure of the course. So one watt meter reading or one element energy meter reading, it will be proportional to Vi cos 30 plus phi, and another reading it will be cos 30 minus phi. So when we add the two readings, okay, then ultimately you will get simply Vi cos phi. The reading will be proportional to Vi cos phi. So cos 30 plus phi plus cos 30 minus phi, ultimately it will be proportional to cos phi simply. Get my point? So ultimately the total power consumption or total energy consumption can be easily found by adding the two readings of the 2 meters, 2 watt meter, or by adding the two readings of the two element watt hour meters. So that is this. But one thing also must be noted, that when our power factor is unity, that is phi equal to 0, then watt meter will read cos 30 plus phi equal to 0, cos 30. Please turn off your microphone. One microphone is not yet turned off. Please turn off microphone. Some stray talks are coming. You can ask your question, no problem. That time you turn on your microphone and ask me question. Okay. So one watt meter reading is cos 30 plus phi. For unity power factor, phi equal to 0. So it will be proportional to simply just cos 30. And for the other watt meter also, its reading will be proportional to cos 30 minus phi. For unity power factor, phi is 0. So here also its reading will be cos 30. So when both the watt meters or when both the energy meter elements are reading same value, then it means that phi equal to 0, or it is a unity power factor case. So during unity power factor, 2 meters or 2 readings will be same. Now when it is a 0.5 power factor, then phi equal to 60 degree, then watt meter will read cos 30 plus 60, so cos 90, that will be 0, and another watt meter will read cos 30 minus 60, so cos 30 ultimately. So when there is a 0.5 power factor, it means that 1 wattmeter will definitely read 0. 1 wattmeter will definitely read 0. Only the other 1 wattmeter or watt-hour meter element, whatever it may be, will read 0. The other wattmeter or other element of the watt-hour meter will read some value. Okay. So how do you know that there is a 0.5 power factor? We need not consult the scale of the phase shifter. We simply can read which watt, see whether 1 wattmeter reads 0 or not. If it reads 0, straight away we can say that it is a 0.5 power factor condition prevailing there. 0.5 power factor condition prevailing there. So that's how we can get our power factor, some power factor values during our reading. Okay. So that's how. Anything to ask till now? No. Okay. Now what we do here, our energy meter, it will register energy. So how to, okay, how to set the duration of experiment during which some energy will be consumed? There are two type of test. One is called a short time test, another is a long period test. In short time test, it will be of small amount of time. In long period test, it will be of larger interval. And our power factor will be also varied. In one case, it will be unity power factor experiment. In another case, it will be 0.5 power factor experiment. Not only that, we will vary the current also. The rated current of the current coils of all the elements or for all the wattmeters are 5 ampere. So a 100% load means a 5 ampere current or full current is going there through the current coil. And 50% load means it is half of the 5 ampere or 2.5 ampere working current in the current coil. Okay, similarly 25% of the load means it is 25% of 5 ampere, that is 1.25 ampere. Okay, so this way we can also vary the percentage setting of the load just by using rheostat and getting another feedback from the ammeter reading. Okay, so that is this particular thing. Now we go to the experiment part with such framework. First, we in run 1A, we carry out a short time test on unity power factor method. Say this one, just a short time test. Okay, unity power factor. Clear? So you see, with 100%, 50% and 25% of rated current, rated load current at unity power factor, we observe time taken for a certain number of complete revolution of meter disk. We will consider the how much time it will take for to complete 20 revolutions or 40 revolutions, something like that. Time will be noted. In energy meter, a disk is rotating. From the rotation of the disk, when one complete rotation is completed in a disk, then obviously it means that some particular unit of energy is consumed there. Okay, so from the amount of the number of disk rotation, we can calculate the amount of energy consumed. So one complete rotation means that much of energy. So for 20 complete revolution, it means that complete energy, that much of energy is consumed. So just before calculation, let me show you first the reading in run 1A. So in run 1A, actually what happens, first we now before that, let me introduce one more thing. There is a meter constant, a declared meter constant from this. It is what? Kc. It is K. So K is what? It is given for our meter in the laboratory. Its constant is 2400 revolution per kilowatt. 2400 revolution per kilowatt means kilowatt hour. So for 1 kilowatt, so it means that 1 kilowatt hour energy is consumed. Okay, and for that amount of energy consumed, the number of disk revolution will be 2400. 2400 revolution will be there. Okay, will be completed by the disk just to consume 1 kilowatt hour energy. Okay, So from that, we can, if we calculate the number of revolution, from that we can calculate how much energy is consumed by the meter. So now first we carry out the experiment with unity power factor. Power factor 111 here. Okay. So it is there. Next, the percentage load is that in first case it will be 100% load, means a 5 ampere current in the current coil. In the next case, it will be 50 ampere, 2.5 ampere current or 50% load. In the third case, it will be okay 20% load. 20% load means 1 ampere current in the current coil. Now, in all such cases, in unity power factor, we know our first wattmeter reads something here 259, same. Okay, in the second case, in the second wattmeter also read 259, means it is same reading for unity power factor. And we are not observing say 40 revolutions. So for 40 revolution, we can just start a stopwatch. Okay, when we just start noting the amount of revolution completed, and then when 40 revolution is completed, then we note the time in the stopwatch. For 40 revolution, we note the time. How much? Say 103 seconds. So it means then we can calculate our meter constant. Okay, that way. Okay, calculated meter constant. It will be, how it will be calculated, I can tell you in a simple way, that we already know. So it means that now we know wattmeter reading, that voltage, that wattage is there. So that power in watt into the time in second. Now the time in second can be converted into hour. How? We know 3600 second means 1 hour. So 103 second means how much hour? So it will be 103 by 3600 hour. So 103 second can be converted to hour, and the sum of the two reading, that is 259 plus 259, will be the total power. So that power will be multiplied with the hour value. So watt into hour will give us watt hour, and when we divide it by 1000, it will be kilowatt hour. So kilowatt hour energy is consumed for 40 revolution. So for 40 revolution, that much of kilowatt hour is consumed. So to consume 1 kilowatt hour, how much revolution will be done? That we can easily calculate. So that's how we can calculate the meter constant. So 1 kilowatt hour, for 1 kilowatt hour energy, how much revolution is there? But our meter constant is 2400. So we can compare the two constants easily. So the calculated constant is here coming as 2698.05. But our actual meter constant, declared meter constant, is how much? 2400. We can easily find out the percentage error. So here percentage error is coming as 12.45%, quite high, but for our demonstration purpose, it's okay. Same is true for unity for 50% load calculation. Here we are using only 20 revolution. Why? Because at 50% load, energy consumption is slow, is smaller. Therefore, the disk will rotate slowly. Disk will rotate slowly. That's why we are using only 20 revolutions. Okay. And again, we convert the amount of time needed to complete 20 revolution, that is in second. We convert it into hour. Then sum of the two wattmeter reading will be our watt divided by 1000 will be kilowatt. So kilowatt into hour will give us the meter constant ultimately. Okay. Okay, for 1 kilowatt hour energy, how much revolution, from that we can calculate our meter constant. Again, we can find out the percentage error. Okay. And for 20% load also, the energy reading is even slower. So we only register for 10 revolutions, not too much, only for 10 revolutions. So ultimately we are getting some percentage error. Okay. So ultimately, what is the calculation procedure here? Now the calculation is here. Just I'm showing you that our observed meter constant is what? The number of revolution, say here 40, divided by sum of the wattmeter reading, divided by 1000. So it will be kilowatt into time in stopwatch divided by 3600. now therefore converted to hour. So it is the kilowatt hour per revolution. Sorry, the number of revolution per kilowatt hour. So that will be the meter constant. Once we know Kc, the meter constant, calculated constant, we can compare it with the declared constant K, and ultimately percentage error can be calculated. Clear? So that is our short time test for unity power factor. Next, we will calculate our short time test on 0.5 power factor. Our load will be lagging load because inductive load. So it is almost same as run 1A. Only difference is here power factor is unity. In all such cases, power factor is unity. Now it will be power factor is 0.5. Power factor is 0.5. How we can create a 0.5 power factor? We rotate the disk of the phase shifter. We rotate the disk of the phase shifter, and note when wattmeter reads 0. When wattmeter reads 0, then it will be a 0.5 power factor. I already told you. It is calculated. Now other calculation is same. We note the disk revolution. Okay. For 0.5 power factor and 100% load, we are just calculating for 20 revolution. And for 50% load, we are just taking 40 revolution. Here it is given in the lab that 40 because here otherwise if the time is too short, more error may come in the calculation. That's why. So ultimately we are in this exactly same manner are calculating meter constant and find out ultimately the percentage error in the 0.5. Okay, same calculation. মাইক্রোফোনটা একটু অফ করে দাও। Okay, run 2. It is a dial test at full load or unity power factor. Okay, a long period test actually. Here we are just doing our experiment for 30 minutes. Okay, and unity power factor, we rotate the disk of the phase shifter so that the two wattmeter reading will be almost same. Here 253 and 256. Obviously, we will try to make them exactly equal, but sometimes it is not possible to make them exactly equal. We will try to make it as close as possible. So they are almost close, 253 and 256. Okay, what? Now true energy consumption is what? Okay. Now wattmeter reading, we are adding the 2 wattmeter reading, and then we wait for the, and we just convert 30 minutes to hour easily, so that total wattmeter reading divided by 1000 will give us kilowatt, and 30 minutes will be converted to hour, so kilowatt hour. So that will be our watt hour calculated from our wattmeter reading. And true energy consumption will be what? Obviously for 30 minutes we know how much is the disk revolution. Okay, the thing is that first we'll see the initial dial reading. Note that we are not doing it for the using the disk revolution. There is a disk revolution obviously for the energy meter. At the same time, there is a dial also in the energy meter. So now we are calculating using the dial. Before starting experiment, we'll note what is the position of the pointer over the dial. Get my point? And after 30 minutes, we'll note the dial again. See what is the new pointer position. Get my point? So from difference of the two reading, we will get the the energy reading. Okay. So true energy consumption will be calculated. I can give you the calculation also. It's very easy. Okay. Now dial advance. So our initial reading is what? Observed dial advance is how much? Final reading we are calculating. And actual energy consumption from the wattmeter is W1 plus W2 by 1000 is kilowatt hour, and time 30 minutes is converted to, okay, actually it is 3600, means 30 minutes first is converted to second, then divide by 3600, or you can directly convert it to hour. Okay, ultimately kilowatt hour is there, actual energy consumption. Okay, and observed dial advance means what? In that D0 is actually initial reading minus final reading. From that we can get the dial advance. Okay, it is this dial advance will give us directly the energy. The dial is calibrated in terms of energy. Okay, so that is our dial advance is D0. There is some actually mistake is there, I am finding out. D0 is not the final reading actually. It is the final reading minus initial reading. It will be final reading minus initial reading. That will be our observed dial advance. So that will give us in kilowatt hour energy. So that energy reading D0 will be compared with the calculated energy from the watt meter dt, and it is error is expressed in terms of percentage. Okay. Now 1 hour can be there. Instead of 30 minutes, we could do the experiment for 1 hour. But to make the time short, sometimes we need to we are just reducing the time interval to 30 minutes, because there are some more things to do in the experiment. That's why. So it depends on our actually requirement. So these are, that's why we can easily calculate the percentage error. Okay, we can calculate the percentage error here, that dial test. Okay, D0 is that. So dial advance is D0. Here it is correct. Final reading minus initial reading. Final reading minus initial reading will be our dial advance D0. So better what we do, from that we can get. So I make a correction here, that will be better. I write here final reading minus initial reading. In bracket it will be kilowatt hour. Yes, now it is correct. Okay, so that is our reading. Next is our run through or trip test. Switch off the load current by opening keys K1 and K2. It means what is K1 and K2? Let's see in the circuit. Say this is our switch K1 and that is K2. We switch off these two. Once we switch off, no current will flow through the current coil, but the pressure coil will get the voltage. The voltage will be there. It will be energized. It will be energized. So when current coil is off, means there is no load at all. It is something like we are switching off all our loads at our home. Now we are checking whether the instrument disc rotates. Okay, instrument disc rotates. So switch off the load current by opening keys K1 and K2. Keep the potential circuits of the energy meter excited at 100% of rated load. The voltage is increased by 10% with respect to its rated value. If the meter disc rotates continuously for more than one revolution, we say that the creep is present. It means that, say, you are not at your home, you have left. Okay, in the morning you have left, you are going for some other outside work, and you are returning in the evening. But while leaving your house, you are switching off all the loads. Now, if the meter rotates, this rotates a little bit slowly, it means that some energy is still being consumed. It means, and for that energy consumption, you have to pay the bill. But that should not, the disk should not rotate, or energy should not, is not actually consumed. It is due to some error actually, disk is rotating. It means the disk is moving slowly. This movement of, slow movement of the disk, even when all the loads are removed or switched off, is called creep. A creeping is not required. Creep is not required. A creep means some energy is registered, although actually no energy is consumed by the customer, by the consumer. So who will pay the bill? all the responsibility will come on the customer. So to serve the interest of the customer, okay, a creep test is done. How? All the currents in the current coils are put off, turned off by opening the switch, and the pressure coil is excited with 10% higher rating with respect to the normal rating. Okay. Under that condition, it is checked whether the disc is revolving slowly or not. When the revolution is more than one, it means we can say that there is a creep. We don't want creep, so a creep test is there. If there is a creep, then again the meter has to be compensated properly. There is some compensating arrangement, okay, to eliminate the creep. So that will be done by the manufacturer later. So test was done at 100% of rated voltage, keeping load of observation. The disc is rotating or not rotating. In our meter, actually, there is no creep in the laboratory. So no creep was found. So you have to put a remark in your laboratory sheet that no creep is found. Actually, it is no creep is found for our meter in the laboratory. That we want. So that is the essence of the experiment. Now you can ask me any question. Okay. If you have any question to ask, you can ask me. Then I will go to the other part. I'll show you a video. After showing the video, I'll tell you some more things, how to write the report sheet and all such things. And obviously through your email ID, I will send all the materials to you right now. And within 1 week, you have to submit the report following a proper format. I will tell you. Okay. So any question regarding the experiment? No. Okay. Let's go to the video part. Better I first run the video.
Good morning, students. Today we are going to demonstrate the experiment of calibration of three-phase watt-hour meter using watt meter. So we'll start from the power source. So you can see this is the three-phase variac from where we are getting a three-phase supply, and this three-phase supply is connected to this MCCB. From this MCCB, this connection has gone to the this three-phase transformer, step-down transformer. This one is, and you can see the rating of this transformer, that is 110 volt to 4 volt. From the secondary of this transformer, we are getting 4 volt output. That 4 volt is coming to this rheostat. Actually, this line actually exciting the current coil of the energy meter, three-phase energy meter. You can see this one is the three-phase energy meter induction type. Now you can see this is the circuit diagram. And previously, whatever I said, that this is the step-down three-phase transformer. You can see the 4 voltage is coming from this the secondary part of this transformer. Okay, from there it is going to A, that is the ammeter, then R1. So this is the transformer. Okay. From there we connected it to the R1. It is in series, so I can connect it R1 first, then it can go to the ammeter. So we have connected it to the R1. From there it has gone to the ammeter. Actually, this is a combined meter. This one is the watt meter and voltmeter and ammeter also. Okay, it's a combined meter. So we connected it to this meter. So from here we can check the current. Now this meter is set in voltage. It is showing the voltage. Now if I change the mode, you can see the current. So this is the current now. So we connected it to the ammeter. You can consider it. So from the ammeter, it has gone to the watt meter. So this is the watt meter current coil. So it is already connected to the watt meter. Okay. And from there, a series line has gone to the second watt meter. So you can see this is the second watt meter. Here also it is connected. So physically, when you see this is the transformer, this transformer is this one. From here, it is going to the R1. This one is R1. You can find it in your circuit. This is the R1, and this one is the W1. This is R2. This one is W2. Okay, and this is the our three-phase watt-hour meter. Actually, in circuit, this is the three-phase watt-hour meter. You can see this is the three-phase watt-hour meter. This one is W1. This one is W2. R2, R1. Okay, and you can see this rotating of this watt-hour meter, and this one is the important device. This is the phase shifter. Actually, we are not using here load means actually variable load. That means we are not using here any variable inductor or any variable capacitor by which we can change the phase angle of the circuit. We are only using R1 and R2. By changing this R1, R2, we will actually change the current value of this one. These two resistances are resistive load only. So we are not here using any inductive load or variable capacitive load. By changing which load, we can change the phase angle. So here we are using phase shifter. Okay, phase shifter for phantom loading or fictitious loading. Okay, so by changing this phase shifter, we will change the phase angle of the circuit. Okay. Now we are going to the experimental part. So there are total 3 runs. In run 1, at first we will do a short time test on unity power factor load. Okay. In this test, actually we will make the power factor 1. That means unity power factor. In unity power factor, we will change the load to 100%. First reading will be on 100%, then it will be on 50%, then it will be on 20%. Accordingly, we will check total revolution time. Okay. In unity power factor at 100% load, the first reading will be at 100% load. We'll take the time for 40 revolutions of the disk. And then in 50% load, we'll take 20 revolution time. We'll take the time for 20 revolutions of the disk. And again, in 20% of load, we'll take the time for 10 revolution of the disk. Okay. Now, run 1B, the second part of the run 1. First of all, of this run 1B, we'll change the power factor, value of power factor. How? Already I told you, we'll make the value of power factor 0.5. Okay, by changing the phase shifter. Then in 0.5 power factor for 100% load, we'll take the time again, we'll take the time for 20 revolution of the disk, and in 50% of the load, we'll take the time for 10 revolution of the disk. So our run 1B is the short time test on 0.5 power factor. For 0.5 power factor load. Okay. Then next test is run 2. Run 2 will be the dial test at full load and unity power factor. Okay. And the third and the last test will be the run 3, that is the trip test. Okay. Now we will go to our experiment. We will see how we will perform this experiment. As I said, this meter is a combined meter. That means this one is W1 and as well V1 and I1 also. And this one is W2, V2 and I2. So from these 2 meters, we can see the value of V1 and V2. You can see the value of V1 is now 109 and V2 is 110. Now our first step, that will be to set the current to the 5 ampere. We will change the value of R1 and R2 to make the current 5 ampere. Now we'll change the mode and set it ampere mode. Now it is ampere, you can see that current is changing. You can see now the 5 ampere current already set into ammeter. Okay, so total current is going through this energy meter and watt meter is 5 ampere. Now you can see that this is rotating. So now our next step will be to make this power factor 1, that is unity power factor. As I told earlier that the phase shifter, we will use phase shifter, make the power factor 1 by varying the phase shifter. Now at first now we are changing it to power mode for both the wattmeter. Now you can see this is in power mode, watt and 20%. So how can I understand that it is in unity power factor? When same power will be shown in 2 watt meters. The value of the watt meters will be same. Okay. So when now you can see that we are varying this watt meter, a phase shifter. We are varying this phase shifter. It is decreasing. This one is increasing. We take it to the same value. Now you can see where changing it. You can see now this one is decreasing, this value is increasing. To make it same, to make the value now you can see both the values are same. In this condition, you can say the power factor of the circuit is 1. It is in unit power factor. Okay. Now our setup is ready to take reading. Okay. So you can see these discs are rotating in the energy meter. So whatever I said, we will take in full load. It is in full load condition. 5 ampere will be the full load condition. That is 100% load for this experiment. So it is in now full load condition and unity power factor. So as I told earlier that for 100% load and in one unity power factor will take 40 revolutions of this disk. You can check only one disk. Okay. So how you will check that? You can see that a mark is there. Okay. So when the mark will come back again here, so that will be 1 revolution. By that way, you have to count 40. And when you count that time, you have to start this stopwatch. So you have to start this stopwatch and wait for 40 revolutions. And then when 40 revolutions will be over, that time you have to stop this stopwatch and you have to take the reading. Okay, now we're starting. You can see this start coming. Okay, let's start. Already stopwatch is working. And I'm counting the distribution. Okay. So in 40 revolution, we got the time that is 102.4 seconds. Okay, in 40 revolution. So you have to note it down here, time taken in seconds, and also note the wattmeter reading, that is W1 and W2. I'm just showing two values. So W1, W2, the number of Higgs revolution 40 we know already, and time taken, that is at 102.4, and calculated meter constant. All the formula has been given to your worksheet. From there, we'll get the calculated meter constant. Okay, and this one is the Kc. You have to calculate the value of Kc using the W1, W2, and T. When you are going to find the percentage of error, that time one value you need to know, that is the K. Kc we are calculating from here Kc, okay. But K, the value of K also you have to know. And the K is the rated, that is the rated meter constant of this meter. It is written on this cover of the meter. You can see that is 2400 revolution per kilowatt hour. Okay, so this is the value of K. And you also have to find out the percentage of error. Okay. Now, for 50% also same procedure that has to be done, the same procedure, but for 20 revolution, and and for 20% load also you have to take the reading for 10 revolution. More or less same procedure for run 1B also. But before starting the run 1B procedure, we have to, you can see that the power factor is 0.5. So we have to make the power factor 0.5 by varying the phase shifter. Now we will vary the phase shifter. So here also how we know the when the power factor will reach to the 0.5. Okay. So now you can see when the total load will show in single watt meter. In 1 watt meter, it will show 0, and the single watt meter, the total load will, not total load, I'm sorry, it will show the total power, will show the single watt meter. Now you can see the value of W1 is decreasing. I'm actually varying the phase shifter. Now you can see the value of W1 is decreasing and the value of W2 is increasing. Now, now total full power now showing in the W2. So this condition, the power factor is 0.5. Okay. So now we'll start run 2. In run 2, you can see it is already written that is at full load. Full load is in full load. Okay. Now we actually get in full load. That is 5 ampere. Already I have mentioned, and it will be again in unity power factor. So we again set it to 0 degree. That means unity power factor. You can say the watt meter, both the watt meter in the same reading. More or less. Okay, let me set. Okay, now you can see it's showing the same reading. So it is in unity power factor again. And now in run 2, this is a long run procedure. Okay. So we have to, we will check the dial reading of this energy meter for 30 minutes. So we will run it for 30 minutes. So before we start the time counting, we will take the reading of this dial. Okay, this dial reading we note the reading, and after 30 minutes, we'll note the reading again. So by taking this dial reading, we will find the total energy consumption in 30 minutes. Okay. Now our last test is creep test. For creep test, we will de-energize the current coil. So we will switch off the power that is supplied. We will switch off the supply of current coil. So only potential coil will be excited. There will be no supply to the current coil. You can see we already de-energized the current coil. So in that condition, the potential coils are energized only. In that condition, if the disk will rotate, we can say in the meter there is creep. But if disk will not rotate, so there is no creep in this meter. Disk is not rotating, both the disks are not rotating. So you can see, we can say that there is no creep at all. Thank you, everyone. So I think you all understood the experiment procedure. We tried to explain it properly. If you have any doubt, you please ask. Then we will try to explain you in better way. Thank you.
So let's start. Nothing to start actually, just I want to say something more. Mm. Just 1 minute. Now, there are apparatus list also, one more file available that I shall send it to you through your mail, group mail. Okay, this is the item and what are the name of the instrument, these are all found. So you have to prepare a write-up, no copy paste, note that you have to write it by your own hand and you have to send the scanned PDF to the proper mail ID in a proper format, that is in PDF only. So these are the things given, just you have to copy it, nothing else, by your own handwriting. All the apparatus list are given here for your convenience. Okay. Next, the last thing is that is the format of report sheets. How you will do it. I shall send you that instructions also to you, how you will prepare your report sheet. The first page must contain these informations, your name, class roll number, year, all such things, your class, subject, contact number, email ID, all such things. Second page must contain the title of experiment, that is the calibration of watt, 3-phase watt hour meter. Okay. Uh, the objective of the experiment will be there also. Circuit diagram, the objective, it's written there. Okay. Object means objective. So to calibrate, so that thing is written there. Okay. Next is circuit diagram. You have to draw the circuit diagram in pen, not in pencil. That is the method we adapt, in our laboratory. The third page will contain our apparatus list. I will supply it to you. Some example is just given there. The fourth page, if you are using multiple range rating is available in the instrument, you have to put a tick. You have to put a tick in the correct setting. Okay. Next is in the fourth page onwards, there will be experimental results. The results are already given in the form of table. Okay, a fresh page should be used now for preparing report to write it from the beginning of the page. It contains appropriate table. Now, experimental result is that reading that you take, and the report, the table in the report means the calculation you have done and the required filling, okay, in the table. And some sample calculation will be there. The calculation formula you have to present and just one sample reading will be there. Okay, that is given there. If any graph is there, then you have to draw the graph, and you have to, and what you have to do, that is also given here. The instructions are given here. Just I'm showing you. Just 1 minute. Here, state the objective, draw the need circuit diagram, make a table list, enter test data. You have to enter the data obviously. Just the data is simple. You have to just copy it there. Show sample calculation. Furnish in tabular form the calculated results of all test runs already there. And you have to submit it in that email ID. Submit eelab@gmail.com. Don't send it to anywhere else. And the email must have a subject. Subject of email will be actual name of experiment. Your file name must be the following format. এইখানে আমার একটা কথা বলার আছে, প্রত্যেকটা ব্যাচে কয়েকজন স্টুডেন্ট থাকে যারা কোনো নিয়ম মানে না, they don't obey any rule, they don't follow the proper format. Okay, I am telling you that you must stick to the format. It should start with lab underscore your roll number, complete roll number underscore your name. Don't give any space between anything else. তার মানে যে আন্ডারস্কোর দিয়েছো, আন্ডারস্কোরের আগে কোনো স্পেস দেবে না, ল্যাব কথাটা লিখেই আন্ডারস্কোর দিতে হবে, আবার আন্ডারস্কোরের ঠিক পরেই তোমার রোল নাম্বার শুরু হবে, নো স্পেস ইন বিটুইন দিস। ওকে, underscore then your name may contain space, or it may start with capital, or it may be fully capital, fully lowercase, doesn't matter. Into lab, no space, just lab underscore, again no space, your class roll number, no space, underscore, no space, then your name as usual, .pdf এই ফরম্যাটে দেবে। এটা কিন্তু তোমরা কেউ কেউ করো না, তার ফলে পুরো আমাদের যে ফাইলগুলো যে অটো ডাউনলোড হয়ে গিয়ে যে এটা প্রপারলি রোল ওয়াইজ অ্যারেঞ্জড হবে, এটা হয় না, আমাকে ম্যানুয়ালি গিয়ে গিয়ে তখন চেঞ্জ করে। এবারে আমি পরিষ্কার বলে দিচ্ছি, আমি কিছু টলারেট করব না। আমি যদি দেখি যে ঠিকঠাক ফরম্যাটে দাওনি, আমি একদম তোমার ওটাতে আমি মার্কস ডিডাক্ট করে নেবো। এটা একটা কিছু করা ব্যবস্থা এবার নিতেই হবে। এত ভালো করে লিখে সব বলে দেওয়া থাকে, তারপরে তোমরা শোনো না কথাটা। আর একবারই পাঠাবে, দুবার তিনবার করে মেল পাঠাবেন। It will come as a single attachment in your file, and you have to send the file to the destination mail only once and submit positively within 1 week after the date of experiment. 1 week এর পরে হলে কিন্তু নেগেটিভ মার্কিং হতে থাকবে, যেরকম নিয়ম আর কি। আচ্ছা, এটা আমি তোমাদের পাঠিয়ে দেবো এই ফাইলটা, অসুবিধা কিছু নেই। ঠিক আছে, এনিথিং টু সে? কাউকে জিজ্ঞেস করা আছে? নেই।
স্যার নেম আর টাইটেলের মাঝখানে আন্ডারস্কোর দেবো না স্যার?
তোমাদের নাম আর টাইটেলের মাঝখানে কিচ্ছু দরকার নেই।
ওকে স্যার, ঠিক আছে।
তোমাদের নাম স্পেস দিয়ে টাইটেল দিয়ে দাও। ওখানে পরের দিকে এসবগুলো ইম্পর্টেন্ট ব্যাপার না, শুরুর দিকে ইম্পর্টেন্ট কেন না, ফাইলগুলো অর্ডারে না হলে কিন্তু সেভড হয় না, তার ফলে নানা রকম আমাদের অসুবিধা হয় আর কি। একটা দুটো অ্যান্সার স্ক্রিপ্ট নিয়ে তো কাজ করি না, আমাদের প্রচুর প্রচুর খাতা দেখতে হয়, খুব সমস্যা হয়ে যায়। যার যার নিজেরটুকু যদি ঠিকঠাক করো কোনো প্রবলেম হবে না। আচ্ছা, আর কিছু? আচ্ছা, অ্যাটেন্ডেন্স তোমরা সবাই এসেছো, আমি দেখে নিয়েছো, ঠিকই আছে, আর কিছু করার দরকার বেশি এ করে লাভ নেই। তোমরা এটা করে দেবে। তোমাদের ইমেল আইডিটা আমি একটু অহনকে বলবো, আমাকে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে তোমার ইমেল আইডিটা আরেকবার তোমাদেরটা লিখে দাও না একটু, যদিও আছে তবু একটু সুবিধা হয় আর কি। ঠিক আছে, অহন আছো? হ্যালো।